Immediately, Crimson Desert throws gameplay on screen. Already that makes it feel different. Nowadays, most AAA reveals look like perfume ads with swords. First, it opens with movement, combat, scale, and noise. Clearly, that is how you tell people you still remember what a video game is. Meanwhile, half the market acts like touching the controller is a spoiler. Pearl, Abyss put a giant, messy fantasy action game on the table. Honestly, that is a risk. Lately, most big studios treat risk like it is a biohazard in the break room. Here, though, is the part that really stings. Crimson Desert does not look perfect, but it looks hungry. Somehow, a rough dog with teeth is still more memorable than a purebred that sleeps through the alarm. Basically, that is the whole story. Western AAA did not lose because Crimson Desert is flawless. Instead, Western AAA lost because it walked into the room looking tired. Instantly, you can feel the mistake. Too many big-budget games now look designed to avoid complaints, not create excitement. Weirdly, they feel like they were built by people trying to pass inspection instead of make a scene. Originally, that is where the mess-up started. Somebody in charge decided safe was the same thing as good. Frankly, that is like replacing a chef with a guy who only knows how to boil chicken. Conversely, Crimson Desert does the opposite. Visually, it looks like a studio trying to show off. Funnily, showing off used to be the entire point of blockbuster games. Notice the combat footage. Everything is busy, loud, physical, and a little excessive. Personally, I would rather watch a game overcommit than stand there like it is waiting for permission to have a personality. Check the traversal. Surprisingly, it actually looks like moving around the world matters. Sadly, that should not be rare, but modern AAA has turned movement into corporate walking. Consider the bosses. They are huge, dramatic, and clearly meant to make you lean forward. Ideally, that is what spectacle is supposed to do, not sit there like expensive wallpaper with hit points. Obviously, none of that means it is automatically better than every Western AAA release. Realistically, that would be dumb. Crucially, the point is that it looks like it still wants to impress you, which is somehow a radical position now. Exactly, that is why this hits a nerve. Crimson Desert is not exposing technical failure. Deep down, it is exposing spiritual failure. Unfortunately, too many Western blockbusters have become very polished ways to feel nothing. Sure, they look great, run fine, and leave your brain like a hotel mint on the pillow. Everybody knows the type. Big trailer, serious music, slow camera pan. Eventually some guy whispers about destiny like he owes rent to mythology. Afterwards, the actual game shows up and has the energy of a tax seminar with particle effects. Fundamentally, that is the screw-up. They kept selling prestige when players wanted pulse. Brilliantly, they brought a tuxedo to a fistfight and now act shocked they got folded. Then there is the art direction problem. My god. Presently, the modern remake, reboot, redesign curse is real. Every single new version comes out looking intentionally blander than the old one. Seriously, that is not modernization. Practically, that is putting a franchise in witness protection. Characters lose shape, outfits lose style, faces lose impact. Soon, everything starts looking like got approved by a committee that is deeply afraid of being screenshotted. Nope, that is not a bug. Actually, that is the plan. Repeatedly, somebody keeps chasing a fake audience that supposedly wants everything flattened, dulled down, and emotionally padded. Truthfully, that audience does not exist. More accurately, it is a ghost invented by nervous executives and talentless hacks who think style is dangerous. Predictably, the classic version keeps winning for a simple reason. Back then, it wanted to be remembered. Today, the new version wants to survive a meeting. Older fantasy wanted to seduce the audience. Newer fantasy wants to give the audience a workplace orientation packet. Naturally, that is why people get angry. Granted, not every old thing was perfect. Still, the replacement keeps showing up with the charisma of a hotel breakfast. Importantly, Crimson Desert, for all its roughness, does not have that problem. Publicly, it is not trying to hide its own pulse. Boldly, it is a game strutting around in public like it still believes spectacle matters. Precisely, that is what Western AAA messed up. Somewhere, it stopped trying to wow people and started trying to manage them. Slowly, it traded appetite for posture. Even the writing shows it. Everything got flatter, safer, and more scared of sounding uncool. Now, characters do not talk like people anymore. Increasingly, they talk like they were coached by brand managers with a group chat. Thankfully, Crimson Desert at least looks like it wants to be dramatic. Good, otherwise, fantasy without drama is just expensive dirt. Reactions tell the whole story. Immediately, the second people saw Crimson Desert swinging hard, the hall monitors showed up. Well, actually, it has rough edges. Wow, incredible. Apparently, the giant overambitious game has rough edges. Next, You will tell me the ocean is moist. Again, that is not the point. Rough ambition is still ambition. Comparatively safe boredom is just boredom with a PR budget. Generally, players will forgive a game for trying too much. Rarely, they will forgive a game for trying nothing and charging full price. Ultimately, that is the real own goal here. Western AAA spent years sanding everything down, and now a messy show-off walks in and steals the room anyway. Hilariously, that is like losing a talent show to a guy who forgot his lines but still had presence. Presence matters. Evidently, that is what the spreadsheet crowd never understands. Technically, you can optimize systems all day, but you cannot spreadsheet your way into charisma. Barfight charisma is what Crimson Desert has. Not clean charisma, not elegant charisma. Consequently, that is why it sticks in people's heads. Simply, it is not because it is perfect, but because it looks like it might knock something over on purpose. Elsewhere, too many Western blockbusters look pre-apologized. Nervously, they enter the room like they are already bracing for a meeting with HR. Summed up, that is the mistake in one sentence. They made games that look like they were designed to survive feedback, not earn obsession. Worse, the trailer economy made it all worse. Studios learned they could hide weak gameplay behind mood, branding, and expensive sadness. Unfortunately, that works right up until somebody shows actual gameplay and the illusion pops like cheap plastic. Contrast is where Crimson Desert wins. Importantly, it does not even need to be the best thing in the room. Merely, it just has to look the most awake. Right now, awake is enough to embarrass people. Frankly, that should scare the life out of anyone selling polished caution as the future. Once players remember what visible ambition looks like, the safe stuff starts reading differently. Suddenly, mature sounds like afraid. Overnight, refined sounds like sedated. Brutally, that is a hard switch to flip. Afterwards, you cannot unsee it. Metaphorically, it is like watching someone bring seasoning to a table full of boiled food. Also, let's kill the tribal nonsense too. This is not East versus West. Rather, this is hunger versus committee. From Parlebis, you get a studio trying to impress players. Across Western AAA, you get an industry trying not to upset investors. One side says, look what we built. Oppositely, the other says, please appreciate our process. Honestly, that is not a fair fight. Romantically, one is a date. Bureaucratically, the other is a compliance seminar. Fine, yes, Crimson Desert has issues. Reviews said that, coverage said that, commentators pointed at clunky parts and even execution, UI friction, all of it. Whatever. Ironically, that almost makes the point meaner. Even with flaws, it still looks more alive than a lot of bigger, safer, cleaner games. Ouch, that is a body blow. Realistically, a game with rough hands should not be making your prestige machine look timid. But here we are. Interestingly, that is why people keep using words like interesting. Language matters more than people think. Specifically, interesting means there is still a pulse in there somewhere. Modern blockbusters have become so overmanaged that interesting is now a compliment big enough to start a fight. Honestly, that is bleak. Yet is also why Crimson Desert caught attention. Unlike so many others, it does not feel pre-exhausted. Better still, it feels like it still has bad ideas left, which is healthier than having no ideas at all. Fear is another place Western AAA messed up. Somehow, it became scared of being messy. Strangely, messy is where identity lives. Meanwhile, a clean, forgettable game vanishes in a month. Comparatively, a messy, overreaching game gets argued about for years. Seriously, which one do you think matters more? Logically, is it the one people nitpick, or the one people forget before the first sale ends? Broadly, that is why this conversation is bigger than one game. Crimson Desert is not the final answer. Instead, it is the reminder. Memory says blockbuster games used to want your jaw on the floor. Once they used to want a reaction stronger than yeah, that seems solid. Importantly, if that reminder makes the rest of the field look weak, that is not Crimson Desert's fault. Bluntly, that is the field's fault for showing up half asleep. Confused, Western AAA has mistaken caution for craft. Relentlessly, it keeps putting a glossy finish on fear and hoping nobody notices the smell underneath. Players notice. Maybe. They do not always explain it cleanly, but they notice. Instinctively, they can tell when a game wants to impress them versus when it wants to retain them. Ugliest of all, that is the worst part of this whole story. Too many publishers stopped courting players and started managing them. Apparently, they do not want devotion. Predictability is what they want. Resulting from that, you get giant games with no pulse. Deliberately, they are built to avoid failure, not chase greatness. Messy as it is, Crimson Desert at least looks like it is chasing something. Alone, that makes it feel bigger than half the market. No, I am not crowning it king. Clearly, that would be too clean. Honestly, the truth is meaner. Ultimately, Crimson Desert does not need to win every comparison. Really, it just needs to remind people what they have been missing. Simply put, what they have been missing is easy to name: appetite, excess, risk, momentum, the feeling that a game might actually want to blow your hair back instead of hold your hand. Funny enough, that is what makes the whole thing so funny. Western AAA spent years trying to become respectable, and now it is getting shown up by a game willing to be a little messy in public. Picture it like this: that is getting outperformed by the guy who spilled his drink but still gave the better speech. Anyway, that is the broadcast. Crimson Desert is not flawless. It is not sacred. It is not beyond criticism. Olive is all it is. Right now, that is enough to make a lot of blockbuster games look like they died in a well-lit meeting.